ओके, तो आप सबका हार्दिक स्वागत, अभिनंदन. We are extremely delighted to have each one of you here on in this pivotal workshop, which is going to focus on transforming lives, unlocking CSR grant opportunities for all the amazing members who are now part of social and who have been contributing a lot to the development of the community, to the development of the society in their own way for the past so many years. So we are really humbled and honored to have each one of you here. And we really look forward to a very value adding session today. Today's session is not only going to be a knowledge sharing session, it will also help all of us to build our capacities and to also get an idea, an overview of the commendable work being done by HCL Foundation through its HCL Tech grant by empowering so many different organizations across India in taking up some social cause, environmental cause, and contributing to the overall development and growth of the community. So we are extremely happy and honored to have our distinguished guest also with us today, who will be taking us across to the entire process of writing compelling proposals, also making us aware about the due diligence process. What are the basic do's and don'ts that we need to keep in mind when we are applying for any grants, with specific reference to the grant applications opened by HCL Foundation. So HCL Foundation has been contributing a lot. I think if you just go on their website and you could just see, they have a whole bunch of very, very innovative work that has been done through their NGO partners, through different stakeholders, wherein with the help of their financial support, communities, organizations, and different stakeholders have actually created a lifelong impact in the life of people around them. So we are looking forward to this very beautiful session today with lot of knowledge sharing. And with this, I hope our distinguished guest is already here. So without any ado, I would request Ruchira, our team member from Prithvi Innovations, to kindly welcome and introduce our distinguished guest speaker for today.
Thank you, ma'am. We are very honored to have Ms. Shali Kaushal, Deputy Manager of HCL Tech Grant at HCL Foundation, as our esteemed guest speaker. Just giving a brief interview of Ms. Shali Kaushal, an experienced CSIR professional with a solid background in economics, holds bachelor's and postgraduate degree from Lady Shri Ram College and Ambedkar University, respectively. Driven by her passion for social change, she pursued a second master's in social work, with a career spanning various non-profit organizations including Medicine, Saint Frontier, UNICEF, Plan India, and National Human Rights Commission. Shali's expertise lies in strategizing and executing impactful program frameworks, management planning, and business development. Her role in foraging partnerships and developing fundraising materials paved the way for her transition to HCL Foundation, where she spearheads the CSIR agenda of HCL Tech. Throughout her 4 year journey with HCL Tech Grant Program, Shally has focused on mastering versatility and empowering non-profits towards nation building. We are honored and delightful, ma'am, that Ms. Shally Kaushal accepted our invitation for this online workshop. Before we proceed, I did like to extend a warm welcome to the distinguished members of Social's National Executive Committee, whose dedication and leadership has driven impactful change across the nation. Our National President, Dr. M. Palani sir from Tamil Nadu, National General Secretary Mr. R.N. Rudwani from Jharkhand, National Treasurer Mr. Sonu Abraham, New Delhi, National Executive Committee member Mrs. Anuradha Gupta from Uttar Pradesh, Mr. Deepak Parihar from Madhya Pradesh, Mr. Anurag Saha from West Bengal, Mr. Vinay Ghawas from Goa, Mr. Narendra Patil from Maharashtra, National Joint Treasurer Dr. Sangeeta Jhunwal from Chandigarh, and National Vice President Dr. Amlesh Adhikari from Assam. We welcome you all for joining today's online session. Now, without further ado, let's begin with opening remarks from Mr. R.N. Dudwani, the National Secretary of Social, who will provide insights into the mission and vision of our organization. Over to you, R.N. sir.
Thank you very much, everyone, for joining. And this workshop is going to be very thought provoking. We are going to learn a lot about the HCL Tech Grant of HCL Foundation, which is considered as one of the most prestigious CSR grants in our country. As far as social is concerned, I would like to brief you all a bit about social. I'll take just 2-3 minutes. And then we can continue with hearing from our guest speaker on the topic that we are gathered here today. So, social basically is a national level collaboration of NGOs who have their registered office in India or who are operational from India. The full form of social is strategic organizational collaboration for improvement and advancement of life. We are a group of some 600 organizations who have gathered nationally for a common purpose of assisting in making India a developed nation by the year 2047. In this common purpose, there are a lot of ambit, but some common objectives have been laid down by social, in which the member organizations have agreed that we will together work towards achieving the said objective. There are three basic objectives towards social. The first is to protect the member organizations of social, financially, and legally, which is a very pertinent issue in our country, where organizations who are working at the grassroots level do not have a lot of practical experience about the legal difficulties, and due to which they lack the experience in facing the said legal difficulties. Social assists in overcoming the same. As far as the financial protection angle is concerned, social assists member organizations gain valuable insights into developing multiple sources of fund generation in order to achieve their mission and vision. Apart from that, social stands by the second pillar of our motto, which is to promote member organizations, which are done digitally as well as physically through various initiatives of social, such as Yuva Sangam, Parivartan Josh. These are some of the events that are organized by social. And through these events, we aim to promote our member organizations on the national as well as international stage so that they get a better exposure and people get to know more about them so that they can trust them and eventually donate and support their cause. The last pillar of our motto is to assist member organizations. Now, assistance can be achieved on a lot of scales, one of which is ground level assistance, there is monitoring and evaluation assistance, financial assistance, legal assistance. So, social aims to become the one-stop solution for all NGOs of our country. Whichever problem they face, social is going to solve all of them, is what we are aiming to achieve eventually. Now, the basic mission of social, as I mentioned before, to assist our great nation in becoming a developed nation by the year 2047. Now, that is a very tough road ahead. No country in the history of our humanity has been able to achieve a proper growth rate in order to achieve the status of a developed nation in such a short time frame, that is 20 to 25 years. But India has taken this task and this challenge at hand, and the NGOs of our nation are going to play a very vital role in achieving this target. Social aims to become the platform where organizations can come together and through the various initiatives of social assist in helping in making India a developed nation by the year 2047. We can get into the details in the various meetings that will subsequently be conducted. But I would like to conclude before we hear from our guest speaker by saying that this attempt that social is undertaking has never before been attempted in the history of our nation. Never before in the history of our nation, NGOs have come together for a common purpose. This time, social, through its various member organizations, have been able to achieve a substantial output through which lot of organizations, 600 to be precise, have joined social and are assisting in our day-to-day activities and helping in assisting our larger objective, which is helping India become a developed nation. So I would request every organization who is present in this workshop today to join hands with social and get to know more about social eventually. And eventually we will be able to become a part of a larger movement which not only will benefit our organizations but will benefit our nation as a whole. So I would not take a lot of time since we are here to listen to Shally ma'am. But before I conclude, I'd like to say one last thing, that all of you have been added into various WhatsApp groups of social. I would request you to please stay active in those WhatsApp groups and present your grievances to social so that we can address them properly. Now, I thank you all for giving me this opportunity. I'll hand it over back to our moderator. Thank you.
So thank you so much, Anuradha ji and RNG. First of all, for inviting me to also represent such a esteemed program here, it's a grant. And I'm also very proud that I am representing and I'm part of esteemed program. And thanks for this opportunity to represent. And there might be a lot of people who will not be aware of HCL Tech grant. So I would also want to take this opportunity to make them aware. And people who already know about HCL Tech grant I have some good news for all of them. So which I will be disclosing while presenting. If you allow, so should I just start with my presentation then?
Yes, ma'am, you can. Yes,
absolutely, ma'am.
So I'll just share my screen and talk more about HCL Tech grant project and program and how it started, when it started, and what is the eligibility criteria, how NGOs can apply. So I will also do a walkthrough of how an NGO can apply and what is an eligibility criteria. So let me just quickly start sharing my screen. So I just wanted to also ask, and I would like to see reaction because I wanted to make it more of an interactive session rather than just I'm speaking. So also to understand that, what do you have, like what's your understanding about the HCL Tech grant program. So I would encourage if people participate and just give me a heads up, when I ask you. So how many of people who are present in the meeting know about HCL Tech grant? Earlier it was HCL grant, now it's HCL Tech grant. So the nomenclature of the program has been changed. So may I have show of hands, like how many of you know about HCL Tech grant? So yeah, there are quite a few people who know about HCL Tech grant. So started in 2015, HCL Tech grant is a CSR initiative by HCL Tech through HCL Foundation in India, and we give grants to the NGOs who are working towards the rural development, and which have clear two objectives. So we give financial grants to the NGOs who are working towards the rural development in three categories: environment, health, and education. And also, I would like to significantly stress on this point, which is a second objective, wherein you will see that every year we also come up with the compendium where the top 30 NGOs work is published in this compendium, which also acts as which gives them a lot of credibility. So I understand that a lot of NGOs sometimes come back to me and see that they are not happy that they are not able to win. But in any competition, not everyone is a winner, not everyone wins. But yeah, and if you have any doubts or any questions, please feel free to put them on the chat box. So this NGOs, the top 30 NGOs are also featured in this compendium, which acts as a credibility. And if they don't get funds from here, from HCL Tech, they can always go to some other donor, and then they can show this compendium because all of the NGOs which are featured on this. So yeah, so the winner NGO gets a 5 crore grant. Each winner gets a 5 crore grant in education, health, and environment, and the remaining 6 who are the runner-ups get the 25 lakh grant for a 1-year project. So the total committed fund is 16.5 crore, which we do annually. And I'm also pleased to inform you all that HCL Tech grant portal is now live and accepting application for the financial year 24-25. So this is the right time to visit our website, register and log in and fill in your application. So these are some of the definitions, when we say that we give grants in 3 categories, which is an environment, health, and education. So this is some of the, this is the definition of environment. So I would thoroughly, and I will also share the links at the end, which you can, visit our website, go through our website, and read more about the list which we have given. And just a note, please make a note that this is not a comprehensive list. This is just a list which will have all the themes, other sub themes, which fall under the purview of HCL Tech Grant. You can be more innovative and add add your projects, add your themes, but then it should be aligning to the SDG goals, and should be part of the clause 7 of the CSR law. So these are some of the definitions. So you can go through it. I'm just not going through each one by one. This is for health category. And universal access healthcare. And nowadays, mental health is, after COVID, we are facing a lot of issues in this arena. So we have added one more specifically in the health category, the mental health promotion. This is something which was not earlier, but now it's a part of our list. And as I just said, that this is not the comprehensive list. This is just a list which will give you an idea, because when people when NGOs apply, they come back to me and ask that because they have a lot of confusion that which category they should apply or where should their project fall, whether it will fall under a health category or a education category. But I think so this list will give you a lot of help, and to also understand that which is the best category you should apply. And similarly, we have a definition for education category. So yeah, this is one of the exciting news which I want to share with everyone. So you must be aware that earlier the eligibility criteria on the terms of the financials, when we asked for the financials, the average expenditure for the previous 3 years was supposed to be 1 crore for the NGOs, and your valuable feedbacks are always welcome and we acknowledge them. So this year we took it to our board level, and now the eligibility criteria has been reduced. So now it is from 1 crore, it has been reduced to 50 lakhs. So now in all the 3 categories, environment, health and education, the eligibility criteria is 50 lakhs. So I think so this is now this will encourage more and more NGOs to apply, and they will be eligible to apply, because earlier I do understand because of COVID also and other things also, like NGOs did face this struggle and had this crunch of funding. But I think so with this eligibility criteria, more and NGOs will be able to apply. So yeah, now I will go in detail about the eligibility criteria, because a lot of times I have this calls coming from NGOs, and also I would like to request here to all the applicants who wish to apply, and I would encourage NGOs to apply. And I will also tell you that not just you are entering an competition, because the grant which you are getting is very huge and can create a very good impact, very sustainable impact in the society. So it's important that before applying, it's important that we do our homework. हम बहुत बारी अपना, जब हम स्कूल पे भी थे तब हम अपना होमवर्क करके जाते थे, या हमें पता था कि नेक्स्ट डे हमारी टीचर हमें ये पढ़ाने वाली है. अगर if we do our homework beforehand, I think so that will give us a lot of confidence. Plus also if we do our homework beforehand, before applying for eligibility for the application, before filling in the application, that will really make your life easy. So the first eligibility criteria is that the organization must be a registered not-for-profit under Society, Trust or Section 8 of the Companies Act, or you should be liable to get a CSR funding under the Section 135 of the Companies Act. The second eligibility criteria is that you need to have your registered ATG and now also your renewal of ATG and 12A in place, because this is one of the eligibility criteria. And also you need to also have now your CSR Form 1. So in 2021, there was amendments which came in CSR law, wherein you were required to fill in the form for CSR Form 1, wherein you can get CSR funding easily. So this is a mandate now, whether it's an domestic funding or international funding, you need to have your CSR Form 1. So this is something which, if you still do not have, whether a small or a big NGO, this is a mandate. You need to have your CSR Form 1 in place, and you can directly talk to your CS and get it filed through Ministry of Corporate Affairs. Then, as I was talking about, so there's two more important eligibility criteria, and the other is on the the financials which I just spoke. So when I talk about the functional existence, so you need to have a 5 years of functional existence when you're applying for SL Tech grant. So and that 5 years will be till 31st of March 2024. And when I talk about the financials, so you need to have your last 3 financial years, which is 2020, 21, 21, 22, 23, and 24. So the last 3 years financial expenditure should be 50 lakhs. So this is the eligibility criteria which one need to fulfill before applying for SL Tech grant. Now, these are some of the prerequisite also, which I would encourage you to again go to our website and read more about it. As I just said that, it's important that you are a non-profit organization and which is registered under Society Trust and Section 8 of the Companies Act. And also I would like to, focus on few prerequisites here that, the proposed project should be in rural areas. So as I just said in the beginning, that it's an grant which is given in the for the rural development. So it's important that the proposal should also be focused in the rural areas. And also when we talk about the bylaws of the organization must allow it to undertake a project in the proposed thematic category. So if you are, for example, if you want to propose a project in a health category, as you can see the third point, it says the bylaws of the organization must allow it to undertake a project in the proposed thematic category. So when I talk about the bylaws, and for example, if you want to apply in the health category, so there are sub themes and the themes which are part of the health category. So all those themes should be covered in your bylaws. So it's important that whichever category you are applying, your bylaws should have the mention of that category. And we also do not encourage NGOs to just put their money into infrastructure development, because we are not giving you funds only for the infrastructure development. We encourage NGOs to minimize your as much as budget on administration cost, and you need to focus on more on the project activities, and also the proposed project is it's for 5 crores and for a period of 4 years. So when you also apply, it's important that you give a proposal of 5 crores. So a lot of times, do not get confused, because a lot of times I get queries that, since we get like the runner up gets 25 lakhs, so काफी लोग 25 लाख का ही प्रपोजल डाल देते हैं. तो आपको वो नहीं करना है, आपको 5 करोड़ का ही प्रपोजल डालना है, जो आप 4 साल के लिए डालेंगे. तो आप अपना जो प्रोजेक्ट एक्टिविटीज है, you can divide in those 4 years. And so also the organization must not have any political or religious affiliations. Also, one more thing which I want to focus here is that the proposed project must be a direct implementation by the applicant NGO. It should not be a sub-granting model that you take fund from us and then you give it to someone else, and then that someone else is implementing the project. That should not be there. So if we are giving funds to you, and because you will be giving your bank details also to us, so once, and if you get a 5 crore grant, if you get if you announce as a winner, then it's important that you also you have to open your separate bank account, and all that money will be floating in that account, and you will be using that money through that account. So it's important that you do not get into a model which is a sub-granting model, because we do not give funds to such models. We only give wherein we are giving funds to you and you are directly implementing. So yeah, these are some of the prerequisites, and I'm happy to answer if you still have any questions. I think so by end of the session, I think so there are a lot of people who have questions, but we're going to take all these questions once I am done with the presentation. I think so. Aryan, is that fine?
Yes, ma'am. We'll take all of the questions at once.
Yeah, I would just encourage everyone, if you still have any questions, please feel free to write them in chat box, and Aryan can after the session we can take all that. So moving further, so yeah, how to apply. So this is an important thing for you all to understand, and also I would like to, after this I will also show you that we have also changed a bit, we have tried to make it more NGO friendly, so that you can also view your applications, you can save them, that once you will start applying, you will also see that we have made it very user friendly. The website is very user friendly, the application process has been very eased out. And so there are two different things to it. So how one can apply is that first they need to first register. It's important that you first register, and then you log in and start filling up your application, because just doing registration doesn't mean that we have received your application and we have started reviewing it. No, once you register, then after that you need to apply. And there is a full form, and the form is divided into 3 parts. I will also take you through that form. It's like, and at this stage 1, we are just asking you to submit the project abstract, which is just like a concept note of your project. And NGOs who go to the next level, from them we ask for the detailed proposal. So when we talk about the stage 1, and when we're just taking the abstract, so the form is divided into 3, wherein the first is the organization profile, then the project abstract, then there are few mandatory documents which you keep in handy and fill. So which I will take you through, that what are the forms you need to keep in handy while filling up the. So this is something which is how to apply, and you can always feel free to go to our website. Everything which I'm showing on my you can see on the screen which I'm presenting, everything is up on my website. So it's like an open book. So and it's like a mini version wherein you can just Google HCL Tech Grant, website will open, and feel free to read about it. And if you have still questions, we do have our helpline numbers, we have our dedicated account wherein we receive queries, we address those queries. So I want to tell you all this. Moving forward, so these are some of the mandatory documents which I was talking about, which you need to keep in handy while you are filling up your application. Is your registration certificate, which I also told you that it should be that you need to have your registration certificate, which is issued under like Society Trust or Section 8 of the Companies Act. You need to have your last 3 years financial audited reports. You need to have your PAN card, your ATG renewal certificate, your 12A renewal certificate, your CSR form 1, and the declaration form, which is already inbuilt in the form, which you just can download. You can fill in, put your signatures and scan it and upload it again. So these are some of the mandatory documents which you need to keep in handy while filling up your application. Going forward, so this is our evaluation process, because a lot of time I get calls that what is your evaluation process, we didn't got any email, or we didn't made up to next level, where are we stuck, why are we stuck. So when I get so many calls, so I want to also take this opportunity to tell you that what is our evaluation process, which is also again clearly mentioned on our website, and it's a very transparent process, because that's why it's mentioned on our website also. So when I talk about the stage 1, so in stage 1 we invite applications. So now, as you all are aware, that the portal is now live and we are accepting applications. So we open the portal, people register, people apply, NGOs apply, and once they submit their application, the window gets closed, and then and there's already a predefined eligibility criteria which we have already gone through. So we have our governance partner, and we have our independent subject matter experts, thematic leads from HCL Foundation, who review these applications, and then they shortlist the application for the further round. So stage 2 is when we are reviewing your stage 1 applications, your abstract reviews, project abstract which you have submitted, and we shortlist them for the stage 3, which is a detailed proposal round, wherein again we have our subject matter experts, we have who are domain experts, and also we have thematic people from HCL Foundation, who again reviews your detailed proposal. And we also have governance partner, who's also part of this evaluations. And so after this stage 3, we again shortlist in NGOs for stage 4, which is also called the field visit, which is a field audit round, wherein we go on field. So there is a one subject matter experts along with the HCL Foundation team member goes to the field. It's a 2-day field work wherein the first day dedicated to the office, wherein the subject matter experts along with the HCL Foundation team member, they expect you to give a full presentation about the proposed HCL Tech Grant project. Then they would also like to interact with your board of members. They would like to see whether the meetings you have, whether they are documented or not documented, and who all are there in your board of members. Are they independent members? Are they on inclusiveness? Are there women members who are part of the board? So there are a lot of things, when they come. So it's more basically the due diligence which happens in the office level. Then the second day is dedicated to the field, wherein the experts are going on field and seeing that how the proposed project will be implemented. So in a lot of cases, what happens that it's a fresh project, because if it's a replicable or a scalable project, and what do I mean by that if it's a fresh project, कि आप first time इस project को propose कर रहे हैं, आपने need assessment करी, आपको लगा कि ये project की need है और आपने HCL को ये project propose किया. जब हम बात करते हैं replicable projects की, so replicable projects means that the project is already running somewhere. It's just that you are implementing it to some other location. When I talk about the scalable project is that today, if, for example, it can be more qualitative and the quantitative. So if you are doing it in one location, you decide to do in 3 major locations. If you are impacting 500 beneficiaries, you decide to do scale up to 10,000. So this is the definition, because when you will fill the application, you will also see this terminology is being used. So just thought to explain you. And then we go to the stage 5. So during stage 4, after that field visits, we have a consolidation workshop wherein the people who have visited the field along with the governance partner, we have a discussion. And then top 30 NGOs are shortlisted for the stage 5 round, which is a sub-jury round. And as I was talking in the beginning, that there is a compendium which got which features all these top 30 NGOs. So now I hope you can relate it, that how this compendium is important, because someone who have already gone through the diligence process, someone who have reached till stage 4, have gone through the diligence process and everything. So they are the one who are featured in the compendium. And then is a stage 6 wherein we do a due diligence of all this top 9. So basically in stage 5, the sub-jury chooses top 9 NGOs, 3 in each category, and then the governance partner do the due diligence of this 9 NGOs. We also do the video shoot of this 9 NGOs, wherein we try to make a small video of the proposed project so that it's become easy for the jurors to evaluate the project. So yeah, the stage 7, the last stage, is wherein the jury, and I'll also show you our jury members. So so the jury members, they see those videos, and basis the presentations being made by the governance partner, they decide on the winner. So like 3 winners are announced, 1 in each category in environment, health and education, and the other 6 gets, who are called the runner-ups, gets a 25 lakh grant. So this is how the evaluation process is. So going forward, so yeah, these are the sub-jury members, and all the sub-jury members, they are part of the HCL tech ecosystem. And even now here also we are very transparent. Every person, like all these names are up on our website. You can clearly see. Yeah, and these are our eminent HCL Tech Grant jury members. So we do have, so like the way you have in your board the independent members, so we also do have independent people on our jury board. And like if you Mr. Suresh Narayanan is an independent jury member, Ms. Pallavi Shroff, Mr. Baswan. So all of them are the independent jury members which we have, which are not part of the HCL Tech ecosystem. So we are very transparent, and all the details are there on our website. So this is also one of the important thing which I want to highlight. So what is the key selection criteria? Probably we can do the next session, wherein I'm talking more on the how to write your proposal, what are the things you need to cover in your proposal. So this is something which is a glimpse I wanted to give you. So when we talk about the key selection criteria, it's important. So we put a 40% focus on the organizational level, and 60% is given to the project. So when I talk about the organizational level, what does it mean? It means that what is your organization's strength and what is your capacity to deliver. Because see, at the end of the day, we are giving you 5 crore, and we would want to see that what is your capacity of deliver. So when we do a field audit, when we are on field, we see that whether the NGO also have that capability, that capacity to deliver that amount, to deliver, to utilize that funds on ground. And when you talk about the project level, so the first point which you can see on the screen is relevance. So how relevant is the project is? Have you done your need assessment before proposing any proposal? So that means relevance. When you talk about impact and innovation, and especially, during COVID, if you would have seen, a lot of like the schools got shut. Children were not able to go to schools. So that doesn't mean the education system will stop, right? That has to continue. So we'll come up with a lot of innovations. Digital India started, smart classes started. So world didn't stop there. There were a lot of things which were happening. So it's important that whenever such and it's an agile world. So it's important that we are ready to accept such situations when it comes, and COVID have made us learn all this. So it's important that how impactful your project is, what impact it's going to create after 4 years, and what is the innovation you are bringing in the project. Because thousands of NGOs are applying for HCL Tech grant, because it's a very prestigious grant. So it's very important that all these factors are there in your proposal, because then only you will stand out. So then sustainability, it's a very important, once HCL like HCL Foundation, your tenure is over, your funding is stopped, 4 years of funding of 5 crore is done, but then what next? So your project should be very sustainable, that even when HCL is out from the system, your project is sustainable, that it is still sustainable, it's still going. It's important that it is inclusive. I've already spoke about the replicability and scalability part, and the financial modeling. So this is also very important. And I was also in the beginning, when I told you that the infrastructure development, that if we are giving you 5 crore, we do not want you to put that 4 crore into some building of a school. No, what we would prefer is that there should be more project activities which is impacting the beneficiaries. We do understand that a certain part can be go into infrastructure, but then we still encourage NGOs to put that money, minimal cost for the admin cost, and the more cost on the project level. So that should be there. So when you propose, and you will see while applying, you will see that there is a grant chart we will be giving you, where you can put your project activities year wise. So so there the financial modeling plays a very crucial role. So it's important that how you are defining your activities while proposing your proposal. So yeah, I mean, I've already spoken about this. So this is a screening process which we have spoken about. This is an evaluation. So which I've already told you that how we evaluate our proposal. And yes, at the end, I would also like to show you that, the HCL Tech grant footprints. So far, and thanks to HCL Tech and HCL Foundation, through which this amount has been routed. So we have done the total commitment so far is 146.95 crore, which is approximately $18 million. So far has been committed. 2.2 million lives have been so far impacted, and we are present in 22 states, 2 union territories, and we are more than in 27,000 plus rural villages, where we have transformed this 2.2 million lives. So this is what our impact so far. And with your contribution, with your coming and applying, will keep continuing to create this impact in the society. So yeah, Yeah, so I would like people to please note down. So this is the helpline number, which is 180057206008. So this is a helpline number. So while filling up your application, if you have any doubts, please feel free to call us. We will respond to your answer. And a lot of times NGO calls and we might miss their call. So we also have a dedicated email ID, which is hclgrant@hcl.com, which you can on which you can write to us if you still have any queries, if you are still facing any issues in filling up your application. So yeah, that's it from my end. So thank you so much, and I hope here also I could have made a small difference with helping you know more about HCL Tech Grant Program, its eligibility criteria, and how one can apply. So quickly, I will also like to take you through our new website and also show you how you can apply. So I hope you are able to see my screen. So basically on the right hand side, if you will see, there's a login and a register button. So see, since if you have already registered, then it's okay. If you have not registered, you need to click here. And once you click here, there's a registration form which opens, which asks you for your name, your organization, your email address, your username, your registered address, which is as per your NGO registration certificate, your mobile number. Do not use 0 or 91 plus. Just put your 10-digit mobile number, then state, city, and the category you wish to apply. And please tick the themes on which your organization is currently working. And then you will say create new account. Okay, once you created your account, then then you will get an once you create an account, you will get an email with the link to set your password. So just click on that password, click on that link and set your password. Once you do that, this page will open, and which will saying the login. So I have already done the registration through that, how you can log in. So this is my username. Yeah. So it will also ask you for the one-time security code that will come on your email. So yeah, this is basically your form. So as I was telling you that the form is divided into 3 parts, which is organization profile, project abstract, and organization documents. So you need to start filling up your organization profile. There are few things which are pre-filled from your registration. While you are filling up your registration details, there are a few things which are already filled up. And so this is your forms, which is look like, which is basic information which we are asking. And so it's important, we have given the word limits. So please adhere to this word limits, because the moment you extend your word limits, you will not be able to write it further. And then you will see that, there is now, a lot of times I have this question on people that what is, if you will see this question, that please indicate if a policy document is documented and is in practice for the following. So you will see that, a lot of times people get confused कि documented का मतलब क्या है और in practice का मतलब क्या है. So when I say documented and in practice is that कि सिर्फ आप अगर आप एक HR पॉलिसी बना देंगे, बट अगर आप उसे प्रैक्टिस में नहीं लाएंगे, क्योंकि फॉर एग्जांपल अगर HR पॉलिसी कहता है कि ये मेरा हॉलीडे कैलेंडर है, बट देन मेरा ऑर्गेनाइजेशन मुझे उस दिन वो हॉलीडे नहीं दे रहा है, सो दैट इज समथिंग व्हिच इज नॉट राइट. सो इट्स इंपॉर्टेंट दैट समथिंग व्हिच इज बीइंग डॉक्यूमेंटेड, इट्स आल्सो बीइंग प्रैक्टिस. And so these are some of the documents which are mandate documents, and which we would also want to, and on the further stages, like even if you say today like you have a documented child protection, but when you go till stage 4, and when we do a due diligence of your NGO and we find out that you do not have a child protection policy in place, will totally reject your application. So it's important that whatever you are documenting, it should be practice also. So these are some of the list which you need to fill up. Then these are some of on the mandate, again some of the policy documents which need to be in place. Then as I was talking about the bylaws, then this is just the basic details which we ask, your contact details. And it's important that you give us the alternative mobile number, alternative email ID, because what, when a person is reviewing your application, or when we also need to because it's important for us to keep communicating with you for the further stages, for the results and for the other things. It's important that a lot of times what happens, by the time, because it's like a 250 days process, when like the portal gets live in the month of April, April, and then the results are being announced in the next financial year in the month of Feb or last week of Feb or March. So, by the time the person leaves the organization, it's important that, we have your alternative phone numbers, we have your alternative email IDs to just, be in touch. Then we go to the project abstract. And again, there are certain questions which are being asked. So it's important that you just go through all this and keep typing all your answers in your Word document so that you can send it. Because a lot of times I also hear from people that right now we have changed that functionality. You can save your forms and can come back and submit. But it's important that you also type it in your Word document so that you can, because a lot of times the financial information a program person might not have, so then you have to again go back to your finance person. So keep typing all these answers in your Word documents and keep reviewing with different team members, or block calendars of every like a finance person and a program person, sit together and fill this application. Take it as a task, take it as something which is going to give you good results, because it's important. First, you need to be very optimistic while applying for HCL Tech grant, because I do understand it's a competition, and but trust me, there have been a lot of NGOs which probably have not won the HCL Tech grant, but the capacity they have developed is huge. And if not HCL Tech grant, there are many donors, and you will get that donation. It's important at the end of the day, you are getting that donation and you are creating that impact, because we are change makers. So similarly, this is our organization. This is a project abstract. So these are, how do you envisage use of technology in the proposed project? So there are different questions which you need to answer. And anytime you feel any struggle, if you're not able to, fill this or facing any struggle, please write back to us on hclgrant@hcl.com. So after this, so you will also see there is a save button which is coming at the moment. So after filling your application, do save it. And then once you do, you will also see a submit button here. So you can submit, because once you submit your organization profile in the project abstract, then only you will be able to submit button. So so once you submit your organization profile, then the project abstract you can submit. And then the last is the organizational documents. So here, as I just spoke about the mandatory documents, so all of them need to be uploaded here. So that's why I said that it's important to do your homework beforehand. So keep all your documents in handy and while filling up your application. And once you reach this stage, just upload your documents and submit your application. So it's not that very tough. It's easy. It's just that you need to do a little homework, little prepared, and just have all these documents in hand. So yeah, I'll just over to Aryan. So thank you so much for listening to my presentation, and I hope that I'm able to do justice and you are able to understand and know now more about HCL Tech. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Ms. Kaushal, your enlightening presentation. Your insights into CSIR grant opportunities and the meticulous process behind them have undoubtedly equipped us with valuable knowledge. I am sure that organizations present here have gained a lot of practical and executional understanding of how to approach CSIR grant opportunities and truly transform lives. Thank you once again, ma'am. Now I would like to invite Mr. Aryan Dudwani, National General Secretary of Social, to share some of the participants' questions received from our participating organizations with Ms. Kaushal for her response to the same. Mr. Aryan.
Thank you very much, Shali ma'am. So all of your details were very insightful. I'm sure that it has helped many organizations. So most of the organizations who are a part of this online workshop have provided with some questions. We have shortlisted 4 or 5 questions. Some of them are very basic. The first is there any deadline to this?
Yes. So the portal was live on 1st of May and 25th of June is the last date to apply for HCL Tech grant. So it's a time, please, people gear up, NGOs, and start applying.
Thank you very much. The second one is there any chance of a consortium of NGOs applying for? For example, there is an organization, suppose, who has some relevant experience in, let's say, environment protection only, but they are not being able to provide solution. Their place is sufficiently served. as far as that particular issue is concerned. They want to work in some other area, but they do not have that experience or that presence in that relevant. So can they co-join with some organization at that place and maybe work with them?
So let me answer it, and this is a very good question. So it's important. Suppose an A organization and B organization wants to work together, but that A plus B forms a C organization. So we would be considering that C organization that should have all the documents.
Okay.
But we also, there is one more thing which can be done, that you can always have technical expertise hiring, which you can mention in your proposal. But it's just not that for a certain project, because we do understand that not every NGO would have all that capabilities or the capacities to deliver. But you can always have those technical expertise onboarded and for a certain activity, and you are implementing through them. You are taking the technical advice and you are implementing. But when I talk about, so this cannot happen that because if you say that consortium, that A and B both submit their organizations and then they can co-fund, no, sub-granting is not allowed.
No.
Sub-granting is not allowed. So when you talk about consortium, the consortium of, because if they come together, but then they need to have all the documents of that C organization which they have formed.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you. The next one is, so can the proposal language be in other languages apart from English, or is it mandatory?
We are so sorry. We are trying to, add on multiple languages, and I think over time will also reach to this stage. But, since English is something which is accepted everywhere and has been used, so at the point it's just limited to English.
There are 3 more questions. The other one is any minimum annual return amount. So 50 lakhs is the minimum.
Yeah, the average expenditure should be 50 lakhs, and you need to
average of 3 years is 50.
Yes. So A plus B plus C divided by 3.
And one last question, ma'am, we received is, so is LEI registration necessary?
Yeah.
Acha, we got the full form of LEI, so Legal Entity Identifier Registration. The organization who has asked the question, if you could unmute yourself and ask it.
Last time when we received a CSR, we had they had asked for LEI registration and we had taken and given it. So that's why we asked. It's like whenever we have to receive fund in India, they say that we need that registration.
Are you a legally registered entity from out of India, or you are registered?
We are registered in India, but whoever registers, they ask whenever funding is happened, they ask us to register in that. So whenever donations happens, they ask us. It is controlled, I think, by the ministry. All the transactions are tracked through it. That is why I asked.
So, sir, something which is already there in the government law, in the CSR law, this is something which you need to abide, because I would not know the nature of your organization. So this is something which is, if your organization have a legal binding, then yes, of course, you need to have your LEI in place. That's important. But in terms of HCL Tech grant, I am not very sure on this. Probably one of the due diligence document which we might ask, but to apply, yes, we do not ask for this document.
So to answer your question, Shelly ma'am answered it correctly. LEI is not required.
Next question: Can one organization can apply to a project?
Yeah. So Shelly ma'am, this was the last question for today. Can one organization apply for more than one project?
Very interesting question, sir. And also that reminds me that, we also have an, so, all your queries which you are asking at the moment can also be addressed to those FAQ. And if it's still not addressed, then I'm also putting our helpline number in chat box, which you can always call, and the email ID, which you can always. And to answer your question, Mr. Stephen, so yes, you can apply, because but then what I feel that what's your core expertise lies, focus on that. So we are not stopping NGO to not put multiple proposals in different categories, but yes, if you say that if you are putting in education 2 proposals, then this one automatically gets rejected. So it's always important that you put where your core expertise lies and which sub-theme your core expertise lies. You put your application in that theme. Yes, if you wish to apply in education and health, you can. But again, while we are reviewing your applications, we do consider we'll consider in one theme only. unless and it's like something which is like a very proposal which is very fascinating, but again, because we need to give equal chances to all the NGOs, so we would encourage NGOs to apply in where their core expertise lies, in the theme their core expertise. Nowadays everything Ministry of Corporate Affairs is taking into consideration. Government is asking you, your CAs need to file all those audited reports, like you need to file it to government also. So this is something which I think, so if you're not maintaining it, please start maintaining all these documents.
Actually, my concern was like, suppose someone is handling the NGO, so the financial condition and the financial expenditure of that person is also auditable?
Sir, no, sir. The financial expenses of the person is not a subject of concern applying for any project, whether it be CSR, government or foreign funding. So the person's finances is not of concern. Only the organization's finances is of concern. So any last question? We can take one last question and then we can do the workshop. Azhar sir, दो क्वेश्चंस हो गए, एक सुधांशु सर बिहार से, अजहर सर फ्रॉम उत्तर प्रदेश। जी अजहर
दो क्वेश्चन था। एक तो क्या कंसोर्टियम के माध्यम से भी अप्लाई हो सकता है? दूसरा क्वेश्चन था कि
आंसर कर दिया है ऑलरेडी। कंसोर्शियम जो अगर दो ऑर्गेनाइजेशन साथ मिलके करते हैं, फॉर एग्जांपल दो से ज्यादा भी हो सकते हैं, साथ मिलके करते हैं, तो वो जो एक एंटिटी बनेगी उसकी जो फाइनल एक्सपीरियंस, टर्नओवर जो भी होगा उसको कंसिडरेशन में लिया जाएगा। तो यस, कंसोर्शियम में आप अप्लाई कर सकते हो, उसको एज अ एंटिटी कंसिडर किया जाएगा फॉर द प्रोजेक्ट अपॉर्चुनिटी।
दूसरा था कि जो 3 साल का जो एनुअल इनकम है संस्था का एक्सपेंडिचर, वो 50 लाख होना चाहिए कि उसका एवरेज 50 लाख?
एवरेज 50 लाख, एम आई राइट?
यस, एवरेज 50 लाख होना चाहिए। तो सर जैसे मैंने बोला 20, 21, 21, 22 और 22, 23, अगर आप उनका तीनों का प्लस करते हैं और उसको डिवाइड बाय 3 करते हैं, जो भी आपका उस ईयर का एक्सपेंडिचर है उनको प्लस 3 करके डिवाइड बाय 3 करेंगे, उन तीनों को ऐड करके डिवाइड बाय 3 करेंगे तो आपका एवरेज एक्सपेंडिचर आ जाएगा। सो यही ऐसे ही हम एवरेज एक्सपेंडिचर निकालते हैं, तो वो आपका मिलाकर 50 लाख होना चाहिए।
कंसोर्टियम अगर हम लेके जा रहे हैं तो अदर ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस का भी तो हम वो एवरेज निकाल के उसमें ऐड करेंगे?
पर ऐसे तो फिर सारे ऑर्गेनाइजेशन हमारे एप्लीकेबल हो जाएंगे ना, तो इसलिए मैंने जैसे अभी आनंद जी ने भी आपको समझाया कि जो आपकी फाइनल एंटिटी है, अगर आप, क्योंकि आपने उसको एज अ रजिस्टर किया, जैसे अगर मैं बताऊं कि आपका एक ए एंटिटी और एक बी एंटिटी है, ए और बी ने बोला कि हम साथ में काम करेंगे, तो आपने एक सी एंटिटी बनाई। जो आपकी सी एंटिटी है उसका जो फंक्शनल एक्सपीरियंस है वो 5 साल होना चाहिए। आपका जो एवरेज एक्सपेंडिचर है सर, वो भी आपका 50 लाख होना चाहिए उस कैटेगरी में जिसमें आप अप्लाई करना चाहते हैं। तो सर अगर हम ऐसे करने लगे कि आप किसी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन के साथ मिलकर कर रहे हैं और 50 लाख आ जाएंगे, तो सर वो सही नहीं होगा। तो जैसे मैंने आपको बोला सर, हम लोग ना सब ग्रांटिंग करते हैं और ना ही हम इस तरीके का कंसोर्शियम करते हैं जहां पे 2 ऑर्गेनाइजेशन मिलकर अपना एवरेज एक्सपेंडिचर और मिलकर अपना फंक्शनल एग्जिस्टेंस दिखा रही है। आई होप सर मैंने आपको।
ओके मैम, थैंक यू। यस यस
मैम, सुधांशु सर आपका कुछ क्वेश्चन?
यस
मैम, मैं जैसे हम लोग सारा इंडिया घूमते हैं, तो इंडिया के अंदर एनवायरनमेंट में भी क्या रिक्वायरमेंट है वो भी देख रहे हैं, हेल्थ में भी, एजुकेशन में भी। तो इसमें यदि कोई एरिया, जैसे झारखंड का कोई एरिया हम लोग ले ले जहाँ ट्राइबल पीपल के लाइफ में उनके हेल्थ पे बहुत ज्यादा असर पड़ रहा है, इंडिया में सबसे बुरा, मतलब एक एग्जांपल के लिए मैं ले रहा हूँ, तो उस जगह पे अप्लाई करने वाले ऑर्गेनाइजेशन को कैसे प्रायोरिटी पे देखते हैं?
सर देखिए, जैसे ये जो HCL टेक ग्रांट का जो प्रोग्राम है ये ओपन टू पैन इंडिया है, पैन इंडिया लेवल पे एनजीओ से आके अप्लाई करते हैं। बट यस, एज आई मेंशन कि हम रूरल एरियाज को ही फोकस देते हैं। हमारे और भी प्रोजेक्ट्स हैं जो HCL फाउंडेशन के अंतर्गत चल रहे हैं, जैसे कि HCL उदय, तो वहां पे जो फोकस एरिया है वो हमारा अर्बन एरियाज हैं, जो फोकस एरिया। वैसे जब हम HCL टेक ग्रांट की बात करते हैं और एक और प्रोजेक्ट है कॉल समुदाय, वहां पे हम रूरल लोकेशंस पे फोकस कर रहे हैं। तो हम डेवलपमेंट जो चाह रहे हैं उन रूरल एरियाज की चाह रहे हैं। तो आपका क्वेश्चन एकदम जाहिर है, सही है कि हम पैन इंडिया लेवल पे एनजीओस को इनवाइट करते हैं, दे कैन अप्लाई। इट जस्ट दैट द बेनिफिशियरी टाइप शुड बी ऑफ द रूरल एरियाज। द प्रोजेक्ट शुड focus towards bringing development in the rural areas, impacting the lives of the rural people.
मैम थोड़ी सी और मैं इसको क्लियरली यदि डिस्कस कर सकूं, मेरा ये कहना है कि जैसे बिहार हो गया, झारखंड हो गया, या किसी भी जगह पे आपने बताया कि पैन इंडिया लेवल पे ऑर्गेनाइजेशन को इनवाइट करते हैं, कोई कहीं से भी अप्लाई करते हैं। मैं मानता हूं कि झारखंड का यदि जामताड़ा डिस्ट्रिक्ट है वो उसमें एजुकेशन की बहुत कमी है। एक एग्जांपल के लिए मैं लेता हूं, जो इंडिया में सबसे बुरी हाल यदि एजुकेशन की जामताड़ा डिस्ट्रिक्ट की यदि मैं मानूं तो, और जामताड़ा डिस्ट्रिक्ट के वहां से भी कोई ऑर्गेनाइजेशन अप्लाई कर रहा है जिसका प्रोफाइल बहुत अच्छा नहीं है, लेकिन दूसरी जगह की उतना ज्यादा प्रायोरिटी वाले जगह से अप्लाई नहीं कर रहे हैं। दूसरा ऑर्गेनाइजेशन मुंबई का कोई रूरल एरिया के एजुकेशन पे काम कर रहा है। तो हम इन दोनों में से क्या देखेंगे, मुंबई का ऑर्गेनाइजेशन का प्रोफाइल देख के उनको ग्रांट दे देंगे, या फिर जमतारा का उनका प्रोफाइल थोड़ा कम भी है तो उनको सपोर्ट
सर
करेंगे?
हम
कैसे
इस चीज पे हाँ जी, तो सर ऐसा हम कोई भी डिस्क्रिमिनेशन नहीं कर रहे हैं कि हम मुंबई वाले को फंड देंगे और झारखंड वाले को फंड नहीं देंगे। हम देखेंगे कि नीड कहाँ पे है। तो जब भी एक इंसान, और जो मैंने आपको क्राइटेरिया बता रही थी मैं, रेलेवेंस, सस्टेनेबल, ये सारे क्राइटेरिया, सो सर इट्स इम्पोर्टेंट सुधांशु जी कि वहां पे नीड क्या है, तो उस एरिया की नीड क्या है। और अब तो गवर्नमेंट भी बोल रही है कि एस्पिरेशनल डिस्ट्रिक्ट जो हमारी हैं उन पे ज्यादा फोकस किया जाए, क्योंकि अब फोकस एस्पिरेशनल डिस्ट्रिक्ट है क्योंकि फंडिंग नहीं आ रही है उन डिस्ट्रिक्ट्स में, राइट। सो इट्स इम्पोर्टेंट, एंड हम सारे लेंस, तो मतलब व्हेन वी आर इवैल्यूएटिंग, तो जब हमारा एक सब्जेक्ट मैटर एक्सपर्ट्स इवैल्यूएट करता है तो वो सारे लेंस से आपके प्रपोजल को इवैल्यूएट कर रहा है, बीट इट्स विच ज्योग्राफी, कितने बेनिफिशरीज हैं, क्या इनोवेशन है, क्या टेक्नोलॉजी यूज की गई है। तो इट्स नथिंग टू डू विद वेयर द ऑर्गेनाइजेशन इज बेस्ड आउट। एंड लेट मी टेल यू कि अभी हमने बिहार में इनोवेटर्स इन हेल्थ इंडिया को पैसा दिया, जो दल सिंह सराय में है, समस्तीपुर में प्रोजेक्ट चल रहा है उनका। हमने बेड़िया कम्युनिटी, अगर आपने सुना होगा, तो हमने वहां पे हमारा क्राई का एक प्रोजेक्ट चल रहा है। हमारा अभी ये हमारे जो प्रोजेक्ट्स हैं वो ऐसे ही डिस्ट्रिक्ट्स में चल रहे हैं। आपने अगर लैंग्वेज एंड लर्निंग फाउंडेशन का सुना होगा तो वो छत्तीसगढ़, आपका छत्तीसगढ़ में ही प्रेजेंट है, उनका जो काम है वो वहीं पे हो रहा है। और वहां पे हम बहुत ही यूनिक, आपने ट्राइबल मेंशन किया, तो क्या है कि वहां की जो लैंग्वेज है, बच्चे दूसरी लैंग्वेज नहीं समझ पा रहे हैं, तो वहां पे वो लैंग्वेज को, जो उनका कोर्स मटेरियल है उस लैंग्वेज में कन्वर्ट करके बच्चों को पढ़ाया जा रहा है। ट्राइबल लैंग्वेज जो एक अलग लैंग्वेज होती है उसमें पढ़ाया जा रहा है। सो वी आर वर्किंग ऑन दैट। हमने अभी पिछले साल ही मेघशाला ट्रस्ट को पैसा गया है, ग्रांट गया है, तो वहां पे क्या कर रहे हैं, वो अपना कंजर्वेशन ऑफ लोकल लैंग्वेजेस पे काम कर रहे हैं, वेर इन भूतिया लैंग्वेज, लेप्चा, उस पे काम हो रहा है। तो वहां पे भी वो मतलब अपना जो, क्योंकि क्या है, हमारी संस्कृति बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है, एंड इंडिया इज रिच इन इट्स डाइवर्सिटी इट हैव and the culture it has. So it's important that we also conserve this culture, you know. Like when you talk about environment, it's important to conserve our flora and fauna, because otherwise we'll lose that, and we are trying to conserve all that. So it's important कि वो conserve, हमारी जो भारतीय संस्कृति है, हमारी जो जैसे आप जब हम सिक्किम में गए और जब वो, क्योंकि वो चाह रहे हैं वहां पे अपनी खुद की लैंग्वेज को प्रिजर्व करना, तो कहीं पे तो हम ये देख रहे हैं कि हम मटेरियल को कन्वर्ट कर रहे हैं लोकल लैंग्वेजेस में और फिर उनको पढ़ाया जा रहा है, क्योंकि वो ये भी नहीं चाह रहे हैं कि वो अपना लोकल लैंग्वेज जो है, जो लोकल डायलेक्ट है, वो लोग मिस कर जाएं, बच्चे वो ना समझ पाए। तो ऐसा नहीं है कि हम लोग कहीं किसी एरिया को, मुंबई है तो वहां प्रेफरेंस देंगे और झारखंड है तो प्रेफरेंस नहीं देंगे, बल्कि हमारा मोटो ये रहता है, हम एरिया वाइज डिस्क्रिमिनेशन नहीं रहता है। हम ये देखते हैं कि नीड कहाँ है, पैसे की जरूरत कहाँ पे है, प्रपोजल कैसा आया है, क्या वो एनजीओ डिलीवर कर पाएगा। क्योंकि जैसे आप ही के से हमें ऐसे सवाल आते हैं, सॉरी मैं थोड़ा सा ज्यादा टाइम ले रही हूँ आर्यन, कि यू नो कि हम बहुत छोटी संस्था है, हम तो यू नो हम नहीं कर पाएंगे। बट ऐसी छोटी सी स्राउट कोरबा, अगर आपने सुना होगा, बहुत छोटी संस्था है, लोक पंचायत, but they are 25 lakh recipient. They were fighting against all the winners who have received 5 crore. So never think, you know, that you are in small NGO and आप नहीं कर पाएंगे। हमेशा अपना कैपेसिटी बिल्ड करते रहिए। हो सकता है कि आप इस साल नहीं कर पाए, बट आप अगले साल कर पाएंगे। बट मैं हमेशा एनकरेज करती हूँ एनजीओज को, काफी एनजीओज होंगे, अगर आप स्टिल, हमारा एलिजिबिलिटी क्राइटेरिया कम हुआ है, काफी चीजें हैं जो हमने रिलैक्स करी हैं, बट आपको स्टिल लगता है कि आप एलिजिबल नहीं हैं, आप रजिस्टर तो करिए, जरूर करिए। उससे क्या होगा आपका फायदा कि आप एक तो हमारे डेटाबेस में आ जाएंगे, ठीक है, तो हम जो भी हमारी कम्युनिकेशन है आपको सेंड करते रहा करेंगे, ठीक है। एंड दूसरा चीज है वो आपकी भी कैपेसिटी बिल्डिंग है। सो इफ यू विल फिल दिस फॉर्म, देयर विल बी लॉट ऑफ थिंग्स व्हिच वी आर आस्किंग। तो अगर आज आपकी ये 10 मैंडेटरी डॉक्यूमेंट्स इन प्लेस नहीं है, तो एटलीस्ट जब आप फॉर्म भरेंगे शायद से आपका ये 10 मैंडेटरी फॉर्म्स जो हैं वो एक जगह इकट्ठे होके आ जाएंगे आपके पास। बिकॉज काफी हम लोग जब काम करते हैं एक ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में, हमारे डिफरेंट डिफरेंट डिपार्टमेंट्स होते हैं, एंड वी माइट नॉट बी अवेयर कि कौन सा डिपार्टमेंट क्या काम कर रहा है। बट जब हमें ऐसे एप्लीकेशंस भरने होते हैं, हम एक एज एन ऑर्गेनाइजेशन साथ आते हैं, बिकॉज आपको अपने फाइनेंस को अप्रोच करना ही पड़ेगा, आपको अपने बोर्ड के पास जाना ही पड़ेगा, क्योंकि हम डॉक्यूमेंट्स ऐसे मांग रहे हैं। तो आप ये सोचिए कि आपकी कैपेसिटी भी बिल्ड हो रही है। और आप, आई विल स्टिल एनकरेज यू, मैंने लिंक डाल दिया है चैट बॉक्स पे, प्लीज आज सभी लोग मुझसे प्रॉमिस करेंगे कि आप जाएंगे और अपना रजिस्ट्रेशन करके एप्लीकेशन को भरेंगे। आपको कोई भी डाउट है, मैं जानती हूँ कि 1 घंटे की वर्कशॉप में सब कुछ शायद से एड्रेस ना हो पाए, but we are available on calls, on emails. Please feel free to write to us. I hope
Thank you.
सुधांशु जी मैंने आपको आंसर दे पाई मैम।
Thank you so
Yes,
much.
ma'am, बहुत अच्छे से. Now we can conclude the workshop. And Shali ma'am has already provided her contact mail ID. So we would suggest that everyone who has any specific doubts can mail Shali ma'am, and then maybe she can respond. Someone is saying something.
Just one thing. Actually, suppose some NGO is very new and they doesn't have this 3-year financial report. Then how can they have their project?
Okay, let me answer that. Look, sir, the HCL Tech Grant is one of the most prestigious CSR grants in India. It requires a lot of specific documentation, and it is a great learning experience for any organization. I would suggest that we apply for the same, as Shali ma'am earlier suggested, कि आप सभी promise करो that we all will apply, because this experience is a learning experience. And I would personally suggest that everyone should apply for this HCL Tech Grant, because in this process, your organization, as far as the documentation and due diligence is concerned, will get refined. To answer your question, sir, you won't be eligible, but still, please apply, complete all the stepwise documents, and contact the social team. We will assist you we will assist and guide you for other specific CSR opportunities which you can avail according to your specification. So thank you very much, everyone. I would like to request the host to please say a few words and then vote of thanks, and then we can conclude this.
Thank you, Mr. Shali Kaushal, for responding to all the questions of our participating organization, and Mr. R.N. Gopal for coordinating. On the behalf of Anvada ma'am, who is the National Executive Member of Social and Founder Prithvi Innovation, I, Ruchira Nigam, Program Coordinator at Prithvi Innovation, wish to extend my sincere thanks to all. I would like to request a few words and declare this workshop closed.
So, first of all, I would like to thank from the bottom of my heart Shali Kaushal ma'am for taking out more than stipulated time for this webinar and webinar cum workshop. And I would like to assure every organization who is present here that eventually many more such activities will be conducted in order to build the capacity of member organizations of social. As you all might be aware, this might be a controversial topic, but I would like to mention it anyhow, that in India for the past many years, this concept of a mother-father organization has been very prevalent for far too long. Now it is not legally compliant, so you cannot divert your fund. But still, there are organizations who try to practice the same. So, social aims that every organization should become eligible enough, or their capacity should be built enough so that they can approach the CSR bodies themselves very confidently, along with their relevant compliances, and they get the relevant projects which they are trying to achieve. So this is the basic aim of social, to build the capacity of member organizations. I would like to inform you all that next month end, we are going to conduct an online CSR CSO conclave, which will be attended by multiple representatives from CSR bodies, and they will have interactive sessions with organizations of social, so that the organizations get to know more about CSR as well as other funding opportunities. We'll try to get some representatives from government departments as well, so that the organization can build their capacity, gain confidence, and eventually apply for relevant project opportunities. So once again, before I conclude, I would like to thank Shali Kaushal ma'am for taking out much more time than was earlier decided upon. I would like to thank all of you for listening patiently, and I would like to thank the organizers and especially Prithvi Innovations, who has assisted in organizing this online workshop, and which is the first of many that is yet to come. So thank you very much, everyone, and we'll meet again in the next workshop.
Thanks, Aryan. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.